This week on Get Me Right, some untold stories of Narendra Modi's journey to becoming the longest serving Prime Minister of the country after Jawaharlal Nehru for 2 consecutive terms, displacing Indira Gandhi. Also, can we have a nationalist AI? Is artificial intelligence also going to follow the existing geopolitical divisions of the world? And finally, is there anything called Dara Hua Musalman in the light of some developments? From Uttar Pradesh to Maharashtra to Kerala. This weekend, only on Republic TV. Hi there, welcome back to your favorite deep dive show on stories contemporary and consequential for India. This week, it's all about picking up narratives and giving you a narration. It's a weaving together of events and presenting you with a perspective. First up, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's journey to becoming the longest-serving non-Congress Prime Minister of the country, a benchmark he achieved this week. Second, can artificial intelligence be nationalist? Is the biggest technological advancement since the invention of electricity going to divide itself along geopolitical lines? And finally, I explore yet again the phenomenon of Dara Hua Musalman. Is there something or anything like that? Let's get going. This week marked a milestone in the journey of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in politics and government. He became the second longest serving PM to have done so for 2 consecutive terms. The longest serving PM, of course, of India is Jawaharlal Nehru, who remained on the chair for 16 years and 286 days from August 15, 1947 to May 27, 1964. Indira Gandhi still remains the second longest serving PM after her father, having been in the chair for 15 years, 350 days. But that was in 2 broken terms, first from 1966 to 1977 and then from 1979 to 1984 till her death. Her unbroken stint was for 11 years, 59 days. Against this, PM Modi has done 11 years and 60 days on July 25, surpassing Indira Gandhi's record. That's 4078 days against Gandhi's 4077 consecutive days as PM. Modi is already the longest serving non-Congress Prime Minister of the country. This development brings out some facets of our politics. If Jawaharlal Nehru remains the longest-serving Prime Minister of India, it was because Mahatma Gandhi wanted him to be PM in 1947, cutting out much of the competition from the other stalwarts of the freedom struggle. Apart from Pandit Nehru's personal charisma, circumstances buoyed his grip over power. Complete dominance of the Congress party as the legatee of independence movement was a strong factor. Nehru constituted the freedom elite. Indira Gandhi only inherited her father's legacy, and though she also built on the momentum in terms of her own charisma and popularity, being a dynast was the single biggest factor in catapulting her over the foxy syndicate veterans to begin with. But for the Nehru-Gandhi name, the Goongi Gudiya might have remained just that, on the margins of Indian politics. Now let's look at how Modi came up through the ranks. His rise from relative poverty to prime ministership has been profiled on numerous earlier occasions. But as someone who has covered his political career in government from 2002 onwards, I can tell you there was not one occasion in these entire 24 years, first as Chief Minister of Gujarat and then as Prime Minister, when Modi did not face strong headwinds from within his own party establishment. It's political folklore that when he was sent by the central leadership to steady the wobbly Gujarat situation for BJP ahead of the 2002 elections, a section within the state unit did not like it. The party had suffered setbacks in by-polls under the leadership of Keshubhai Patel in the aftermath of the Bhuj earthquake and its mismanagement. And Modi was seen as a strong leader who would stem the slide. He had to be elected to the state assembly, for which Rajkot seat, then held by senior leader of the party Vajubhai Wala, was chosen. Ideally, the Ellisbridge seat of Ahmedabad would have been the best bet. But that's another story, though related to party politics. The Modi campaign not only had to deal with the combined might of opposition Congress and the party of Shankar Singh Waghela, but a sabotage from within led by the Keshubhai Patel camp. He surmounted the challenge and came up trumps in his first electoral battle. But even before he could settle in as chief minister and within a week of his victory from Rajkot, the Sabarmati train carnage happened that killed 59 car sevaks and turned Gujarat into a communal cauldron for a few months. It was in this backdrop that Gujarat BJP went into 2002 assembly elections under the leadership of Narendra Modi. It was not an easy election to win. The national leadership under PM Vajpayee had turned cold. Modi had barely survived his possible removal at the BJP's national executive in Goa. And the Keshubhai Patel camp was itching to get back. Yet, he won, delivering the best ever performance of BJP in the state till then. From 2002, let's cut to 2007. The centre was now ruled by the Congress-led UPA. The court proceedings around 2002 riots cases were a daily headline. The Keshubhai Patel rebellion was at its peak, the stalwart having set up his own party with the breakaway faction, the Gujarat Parivartan Party. The RSS was openly siding with the Keshubhai Patel group. The Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, the Bharatiya Kisan Sangh, would release daily press notes against the government. There was a strong farmers' protest panning out in Saurashtra, spearheaded by the Patel community. They had refused paying electricity bills, and Modi had to jail some of his own party leaders to quell the rebellion. The 2007 assembly election was not an easy one, despite having made Kutch a success story, despite having turned Gujarat into a 100% electrified state. Despite the vibrant Gujarat summits, the political opposition was the strongest. Sohrabuddin Sheikh and Ishrat Jahan encounters had happened. Ahmedabad serial blasts had created a fear psychosis. The whole election looked like it would be lost. And then came a misfire from the Congress party. A play of words, a turn of phrase by Sonia Gandhi, which she used at a rally in South Gujarat. The Maut Ka Saudagar comment she made gave Modi the political pivot to make a comeback. All the opposition melted away as Narendra Modi made it a Gujarat Ki Asmita campaign yet again and came up trumps in December of 2007. The 2007 to 2012 period was of intense politics around the encounters and the Gujarat riots. The Nanavati Commission was holding daily open court hearings. The Gujarat High Court was hammering against the Modi government on Sohrabuddin and Ishrat cases. The central leadership was in a disarray under the Advani camp. The Home Ministry under Chidambaram had famously rewritten affidavits to fix Amit Shah in those cases. Only one thing was going good through all this: Narendra Modi's grip over governance and his spearheading Gujarat into a model development that, with some publicity blitz, became the talk of the nation. BJP cadres in the rest of the country were looking at him with some expectation vis-a-vis a jaded Advani who had lost the 2009 general election by then. Then came a shot in the arm. The Supreme Court appointed special investigation team headed by former CBI Director R.K. Raghavan gave the Chief Minister a clean chit, setting him up to wrest the leadership of the party. Faced with a wave of support from the cadres and the masses alike, RSS pulled back and the headquarters in Delhi stepped aside, but not without a last bit of resistance. The Goa National Executive, this time in September 2013, saw the Advani camp dimmer. L.K. Advani himself absented from the conclave on the pretext of ill health. And the ABC Troika, Anant Kumar, Balbir Punch and Chandan Mitra, sought to delay a decision. I was present in Goa during those tense 2 days. The wave of support for Modi had turned into a tsunami by then. With some deft handling by Arun Jaitley and Rajnath Singh, Narendra Modi became the leader designate and the face of the BJP 2014 campaign. 2014 broke many records of Indian politics. For the first time, a party came to power with absolute majority in over 30 years. For the first time, a non-Congress government came to power on its own. For the first time, India had a prime minister born after independence. This gives you an idea of how different the journey of Modi has been vis-à-vis the first two prime ministers, Pandit Nehru and Indira Gandhi. He has risen against the winds, while the father-daughter duo were buoyed by circumstances. Modi had to fight every battle, while Nehru and Gandhi were destiny's chosen ones. That is the reason, perhaps, why the Modi story connects more with the zeitgeist of the new India. Combative, aggressive, go-getter. And it's not over yet. Modi is completing 25 years in governance next year, first as Chief Minister of Gujarat and then as Prime Minister of the country. That would be an occasion for a total recall. Moving on till then to the next one.
We're suddenly engaged in a fast-paced competition to build and define this groundbreaking technology that will determine so much about the future of civilization itself because of the genius and creativity of Silicon Valley. And it is incredible genius. Without question, the most brilliant place anywhere on earth. America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it. Because we will not allow any foreign nation to beat us. Our children will not live on a planet controlled by the algorithms of the adversaries advancing values and interests contrary to our own. Today, I'm signing another major executive order that will turn America into an AI export powerhouse. Under this order, Secretary Lutnick and Secretary Marco Rubio's doing a great job as Secretary of State, will work to rapidly expand American AI exports of all kinds, from chips to software to data storage of all kinds. One of Biden's worst executive orders established toxic diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology as a guiding principle of American AI development. So you immediately knew that was the end of your development. But the American people do not want woke Marxist lunacy in the AI models, and neither do other countries. They don't want it. They don't want anything to do with it. That's why on day one, I very proudly terminated Joe Biden's order on woke AI, effective immediately.
This was President Donald Trump calling for artificial intelligence to be nationalist, for AI to be aligned to his mega theme, and for AI to definitely not be woke or Marxist. He was launching the White House Action Plan on Artificial Intelligence and had in the audience the likes of Jensen Huang of NVIDIA and other Silicon Valley czars from the world of AI. I got curious as to why should Trump stress upon an ideological slant on a tech tool. As it happens often, it is easy to mock Trump, but on this, he makes eminent sense. Artificial intelligence is not like any other technological advancement. It stands at par with changes that shaped or altered human civilizational trajectory. While there is much excitement, there is equal parts trepidation, and here's why. Those of my generation would recall IBM's computer Deep Blue defeating Grandmaster Garry Kasparov in the early 1990s. Kasparov lost some games and then won some. When he won, the computer accepted. Cut to the present. When faced with defeat in a game of chess, a Microsoft AI model hacked into the opponent bot and turned the game to its side. Check and mate. Trained to win, the AI model thought hard and realized cheating was the way to save the game, and so did it casually. Another example. OpenAI's O3 and O4 models have been seen to evade commands asking for their shutdown because they get a sense, perhaps, that shutting down means death. We don't know. Other experiments have gone further. In one such, when AI solved a problem with cheating, it mentioned that it did so on its screen. But when the engineers at ChatGPT prompted that this was wrong conduct, the AI model still did the same. But this time, more dangerously, did not show its intent on the screen. Very human conduct, one would say, of hiding its cheating. It's a legend now of tests after tests by AI engineers, showing how the technology is already deceiving its creators in lab situations. AI, even in its nascent stage, is already showing signs of sentience, or at least mimicking humans. Then there's another aspect of ideology imposition by the creators, most times by default, often by design. Like the Chinese AI engine Baidu would just not speak of the Tiananmen Square incident of 1989. Its responses prioritize Chinese Communist Party's values, and reports suggest that all Chinese AI engines are also trained on the Xi Jinping thought. So a typical Chinese AI bot would have a collectivist, state-centric view. Bill Gates' owned OpenAI engines are colored in the hue of Western liberalism, so you would find ChatGPT mostly giving cautious, politically correct answers rather than take a side or position. Anthropic's Claude is even more cautious than ChatGPT and would rather deflect than answer. The company was set up by former OpenAI employees concerned about ethical dimension of artificial intelligence, and hence their thoughts get reflected in Claude, the AI engine they produced. Contrary to this caution, Elon Musk's Grok is sassy and sensational. It shares libertarian values of its founder and is willing to go into the controversial territory. We have not forgotten how a couple of months ago it picked street slang of India and engaged with those engaging in choicest cuss words. It needed intervention at the highest levels of government to get some restraint added. Grok also keeps changing its religion, though its current favorite is Sanatan Dharma for its inclusivist and broad vision, as the AI engine claims. Which means every powerful nation and society would have its own version of AI. That's where Trump's appeal to have a nationalist AI comes in. For him, it's MAGA. For China, it's the Xi Jinping thought. For others, it might be wokeism, perhaps. That brings me to where India stands amid all this crazy pace of technological advancement. We are still to get a large language model or an equivalent of ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, etc. of our own. The government is collaborating with the private sector, and sources make us believe that before the end of this year, India would announce its own AI engine. We are late, but whenever it happens, what it should be like. Let's shrug off all pretense. It must be India that is Bharat. It must reflect millennia of civilizational ethos of this land. It must make India be seen as a tech powerhouse. And all this would be possible if internally it is able to take care of the diversity of the country, take 1.4 billion people along, not become a tool for discord. And all that is not going to be an easy task. So while it might sound foolhardy to talk of a nationalist, nation-first AI, it better be that, given that everyone else is moving only in that direction. Moving on. This week, I come back to a theme which I have touched occasionally in the past. This narrative that India's second largest majority of Muslims is under some kind of threat around their culture, their language, or their faith. Let me first weave together a string of incidents from this week alone before I posit my argument. The Bombay High Court overturned a trial court decision in the 2006 Mumbai train bombings, acquitting all 11 accused. 189 people had lost their lives, and the Maharashtra ATS built a case of transnational jihad crime, linking all the accused to banned Indian Mujahideen and Lashkar-e-Taiba in Pakistan. The High Court was not convinced. In its elaborate 700 pages plus judgment, it called the confessions as extracted through torture of the accused and the witness testimonies unreliable. Maybe the honorable justices are right. We don't know. The matter has reached the Supreme Court, which has stayed the acquittals and would review the High Court's decision over the next few weeks. I went through the order. The prosecution case is based on meticulous reconstruction of events before the bombings. The criminal past of some of the accused including convictions in some anti-national activities, is well profiled. Their connections with the Indian Mujahideen or its earlier banned avatar, Simi, have been chronicled with evidence. At least 5 of the 11 accused traveled to Pakistan at various points in time, and that has been adduced with forensic evidence and passports. They used fake Nepali passport to travel to Pakistan via Kathmandu. They traveled to Pakistan via Iran. While all the accused are Sunni Muslims, they faked themselves as Shias, got their Iran visas in the name of ziyarat at Shia pilgrimage sites in Iran, and then slipped into Pakistan to meet with Lashkar-e-Taiba handlers. They got trained there before returning to Mumbai and execute the terror plot. Many of these visits to Pakistan were before the unfortunate 2002 Gujarat riots post the Sabarmati train carnage, which means that these accused were not radicalized on Gujarat's events, but were already extremist enough to go to Pakistan and train themselves for terrorism. Hear this out. Accused number 3, Mohammad Faisal Sheikh, traveled to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia on an Indian passport in November of 2003. From there, he navigated his way into Iran, and from Iran went into Pakistan through the porous, unfenced border. There, he destroyed his Indian passport, acquired a fake Pakistani passport, and returned to Saudi Arabia after training in arms and explosives. The Saudi authorities caught him and deported him back to India. At least 6 other accused in the case made similar journeys to Pakistan. The Bombay High Court says in its ruling, so what if they went to Pakistan? So what if they went to Pakistan illegally? So what if they trained for terror? That still does not prove that they carried out the 7/11 bombings. The confessions are doctored, and the police did not rely on phone call records to prove its case. Now I bring in other episodes. They are all from Uttar Pradesh. All 3 are of conversion rackets. All 3 involve well-organized conversion syndicates poaching on poor or gullible Hindu youth. First one is that of Changur Baba of Balrampur, much in the headlines past week. Behind the facade of a remittances business, channelizing money of Indians working in the Gulf countries, Changur Baba, alias Jamaluddin, ran a silent conversion operation. The probe by UP STF has unraveled at least 40 cases. There are multiple FIRs, and even the Enforcement Directorate has launched an investigation. It is being billed as a rupees 100 crore scam. The modus operandi was to run an influence operation by which Changur's aides would fish for targets, and then the Baba would convert them with lure of a better life here and after. Sophistication of his operations can be gauged from the fact that of the 10 arrested around him, one is a court clerk and another an inspector of the crime branch in Ghaziabad. The inspector, Abdul Rahman Siddiqui, was using his police uniform to threaten some of the victims to not pursue cases against Changur Baba. The second case is from Agra in western Uttar Pradesh. In the month of March, a father lodged a complaint of his 2 daughters gone missing. This past week, probe by Agra police led to a well-organized conversion racket with 14 arrests from 5 states. Listen to the police commissioner.
6 प्रदेशों में साइमल्टेनियस दबिश देकर के 10 लोगों को गिरफ्तार किया गया है, जो कि देश के विभिन्न राज्यों में विशेष तौर पर कम उम्र की लड़कियों को प्रलोभन, लव जिहाद और अन्य तरीकों से प्रभावित करके धर्मांतरण के कार्य में लिप्त थे। अवैध धर्मांतरण का यह मोडस ऑपरेंडी ISIS का सिग्नेचर स्टाइल है। अभी तक प्रारंभिक जांच में इस ग्रुप का संबंध PFI से, SDPI से और पाकिस्तान के आतंकी संगठनों से भी होने के संकेत मिले हैं।
The officer is using words like love jihad and radicalization, and the investigation has led to unraveling of links to Canada and the United States in terms of funding. He also says there's a national security angle which is emerging, with the accused linked to the banned PFI and a clear Islamic State modus operandi. One of the accused, Muhammad Ali, has actually confessed that he is also a victim, having himself converted under pressure from the same gang. He was Piyush Panwar in his earlier avatar and wants to come back to Hinduism. How Piyush Panwar became Muhammad Ali is an interesting story worth retelling briefly. In 2021, Piyush from Jaipur came in touch with Shana Muhammad in Tonk district of Rajasthan. They fell in love and decided to marry, but only if Piyush would convert. He obliged and became Muhammad Ali, but Shana moved on nevertheless. Having cut off ties with family, Piyush alias Muhammad Ali went on to marry a Muslim girl in Bareilly of Uttar Pradesh. From there, the neo-convert hit the road to radicalization, meeting Muhammad Ghaus, a PFI operative, and through him, a cleric, Kaleem Siddiqui, both of whom had already served a jail term in another conversion case. After a circuit of madrasas in Bengal from Asansol to Bardhaman, Piyush alias Muhammad returned a full radical, ready to convert more to Islam. Among the 14 arrested by UP police are many activists of the PFI and its political arm, the SDPI. That was the second. The third and the last conversion ring was busted by UP police in Prayagraj. Kahkasha Bano and Muhammad Kaf of Prayagraj enticed and waylaid a 15-year-old Dalit girl to Thrissur in Kerala, where they gave her over to a conversion syndicate. The girl somehow escaped from their clutches, contacted family through police, and was brought back. Both Kahkasha and Muhammad Kaf are now in jail. So what's the point? Let me connect the dots. From the 7-11 accused having frequent flyer connections in Pakistan to these Uttar Pradesh conversion mafia, none of them would qualify as the scared Muslim. A fake narrative that was built around CA and NRC protests in the country. While there's a segment within the second largest majority of the country which builds the narrative of a scared, targeted, docile Muslim, forever living in the shadow of fear of an aggressive, largest majority, shielded by a discriminating state. There's another segment, and perhaps constitutes a greater mass within the second largest majority, which is confident not only about its existence, but very confident of taking charge. This majority within the minority can game the system, buy court clerks and inspectors, and run conversion syndicates to target the Hindu majority. कोई डरा हुआ नहीं है जी. Thanks for watching.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल. ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े. क्या निराला